Welcome everybody. Oh, this is another day in trial. This is actually this morning session. I found it before I thought I was going to. So we're going to go to this morning session. And y'all, the Shay, boy, it gets going early. There is a snippy judge and snippy defendant attorney, and they get going from the moment they hit start. Part of the problem is the prosecution was supposed to rest last Friday, and then they said Wednesday, and now it's Thursday. The judge is getting tired and wanting to start putting time limits, which I don't think is fair on the defense's side, because you know what? The prosecution didn't have time limits, but the judge is real testy. I don't think he got his coffee this morning. So with that, y'all, we are going to go and we're going to let me get it on screen. And here we go. Are y'all ready for some snippy? I sure am. Let's see how all this plays out. It's going to be a fun one, y'all. Let's go.
All right, you can be seated. We're on the record. Records show the presence of counsel and the defendant. The jury is absent. Mr. Jetty or Ms. Hunley, I need to know what remains of the state's case in chief.
We're currently in the cross-examination of Detective Barba. And after Detective Barba, we have Border Patrol Agent Tursi, who should be quick. I mean, this is from the state's perspective, quick from our perspective. And then we have the finishing up of dispatch witness on Friday and Detective Ainza. And that's it.
Thank you. What does the defense anticipate of its case in terms of how much time you're going to need?
Your Honor, we're hoping to get through it fairly quickly. We have Sheriff Hathaway, we have Border Patrol Agent Lyugan, Border Patrol Agent Gorman, and Detective Raul Rodriguez that we anticipate calling, and then possibly the defendant, possibly not.
Give me an estimate of how much?
2 days.
2 days?
Whoa, that's all?
I'm just asking.
Going, I'd say yes.
Well, all right.
That's not much, y'all.
I'm going to start imposing time limits in this case on direct and cross-examinations. When we've been discussing this case, leading up to the case and during the trial, counsel advised me that this case would take 3 weeks. I have to rely on what you tell me. I don't know who the witnesses are going to be, what they're going to testify to, or what the duration of time is going to be. I was told it was going to be 3 weeks. Today is 3 weeks, right? Today is 3 weeks. We started on March 21st. Today's 3 weeks, and the state's still in this case. I've also been monitoring and asking counsel for how we're doing, how we're progressing on this case, so that I could decide and determine whether I needed to exercise any authority over the pace of the case. I was informed by the state that there was a possibility that they would rest last Friday. Here we are on Thursday. The state's not going to rest today. And if we continue, then the state will maybe rest at the close of business on Friday. I assume Detective Ainza is going to be a lengthy witness. So clearly, we are behind schedule. This case is going to go to the jury next week. It's going to go to the jury next Thursday. And I'm going to move this case so that happens. And I'm going to start imposing time limits. This line of cross-examination of Detective Barba.
What?
Tell me what it is. Tell me why it's relevant and what you're trying to do.
Are you referring to Ramon, talking to Detective Barba about Ramon?
I am.
Ramon is somebody who came forward in this case. He made a false report to law enforcement. Law enforcement collected information from Ramon that was verifiably false. Law enforcement failed to exercise any kind of standard of care over this investigation. It shows law enforcement's bias, and it shows their ineffectiveness in actually being able to investigate the case. It's crucial to the defense to be able to put on this information.
So the line of questioning is basically, well, first of all, Ramon's not a witness, right? He's not going to testify. Ramon came forward. He gave information. Is the defense point of view an argument that he gave false information, correct? All right. They looked at Ramon. They decided for whatever reason not to use Ramon, maybe in part because he wasn't an honest witness or he's not available. But so basically what you're trying to prove is that, as I understand it, through this cross-examination, is you have a witness who gave false information, he's not being used, and you're just trying to determine that the state didn't adequately investigate his false information?
That's true. He's also a potential suspect. Judge, anybody who comes forward to put themselves at the scene of the crime should be looked at as a person of interest. We had a witness testify that because Mr. and Mrs. Kelly were at the scene of the crime, they were persons of interest. Anybody who puts himself there is a person of interest, if not a potential suspect. And we have a right to question the investigation and to challenge them and to get to the bottom of why they didn't pursue other people who are making false reports and maybe potential suspects.
Very well. You can do that, but this examination is way beyond the scope of the direct examination. This is evidence that is more properly presented in the defense case in chief. You can present that in the defense case in chief if you want. We're not going to go into it any further right now. It's beyond the scope of the direct examination, and it's more evidence that's to be presented in the defense case in chief. If you wanted to present that in the defense case in chief, you can do that. And if you do that, because of the way we discussed this yesterday and the ruling of the court, is that then we're going to play the entire video of the interview. And I don't know, did you determine how long that's going to take?
It's only 20 minutes, Your Honor.
20 minutes, that's good. But that'll come out in your case in chief, and that'll come out of the defense time.
I just have to object, Judge. I think that's going to cause this to take longer. If we have to recall Detective Barba to go through that, it'll take longer. I'm allowed in cross-examination to exceed the scope of direct. I'm not in any way limited by what the state asks this witness on direct.
He's pissing that
And if I have to call this witness in our case in chief, then I'm not able to lead the witness. So that's going to take
You'll be able to lead the witness. He's an adverse witness. I'll allow you to lead the witness. The rules provide that if you call a witness and he's associated with an adverse party, the court can allow that. That's the ruling of the court. Let's call the witness to the stand. We're not going to question the witness anymore on this particular point. You have 5 more minutes with this witness on cross-examination.
Judge, I have to object. This witness is very crucial to the defense. I've never been limited to the lead detective. This is the witness who's supposed to be the lead detective. I've never been limited to just 5 minutes of cross-examination. And this witness testified to all sorts of involvement in this case. This is one of the defense's main witnesses that we have to get to. Judge, limiting me to 5 minutes of cross-examination with this witness violates Mr. Kelly's constitutional
You now have
rights.
4 minutes.
Oh,
Call the witness.
oh, I've never seen this judge mad. Oh my. Oh my.
But Your Honor,
Okay, guys, it really isn't fair because
Yes,
the
let's forward and have a seat.
prosecution's had unlimited time and they've taken all this time. And now
Can I get the
the
whiteboard,
defense is
Lydia?
being limited. They should have equal time. And for this
Please
to
have a
go,
I remind every witness who
Thursday,
appears after
holy
they've
crap.
appeared on a prior date, you're still under oath. Okay. Right?
oh, this is very damaging. And I'm sure there's going to be more talk about the time limiting due to the fact,
Your Honor.
Bring in the, good point. Bring in the jury.
they didn't bring in the jury. The thing is, the thing is that if the prosecution gets 2.5 weeks or a week and a half, then the defense should be able to have equal time. And that ain't going to happen. This judge is like, I'm done. And I understand that the defense gets to cross-examine the witnesses for the prosecution, but the prosecution is taking a lot of time and a lot of witnesses, more than they needed to have. And they have recalled almost every witness, feels like. I mean, not literally, but they've recalled at least 7. I'll know when I get the minutes from the court tonight, but they have recalled a lot of people. And I'm all like, excuse me? Back it up. That judge was like, back it up. Now you got 4 minutes. So I think there may be some more motions made. Either that judge didn't get his coffee and he don't feel good. But look at him. I've never seen him this. He's always been so amenable to everybody. And I think he has been. And I think he may be feeling a little bit taken advantage of. But oh my gosh, this judge finally did a snap in court that I've not seen. And I really hope, I really hope it does not affect the defense's case. Because right now, they ain't getting equal time at all. This is day 11.
Please be seated. The records show the presence of all the jurors, counsel, and the defendant. Juror number 4, I had a conversation with your point of contact from your employment. She's very accommodating. The clerk is going to work out the details. I don't anticipate a problem. Right?
Yeah, she's very accommodating to
Witness
you.
is still under oath, and you can continue with your
Not to
cross-examination.
the employee.
Good morning. Detective Barba, I'm going to have you look at a very basic map, okay? And I want you to help me put some things on this map, okay? You were at the house. This is Mr. Kelly's house, let's say, all right?
You better
You
focus
are
on
aware that
4
the
minutes.
body of the victim was discovered to the east of the house, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So body's over here. And this distance from the body to the house, that's about 115 yards. Is that correct?
I didn't do the measurement, so I wouldn't know the
Is
measurement.
that approximately right?
Sorry, I'm getting a sweet tooth.
Okay. And this is north, this is south. So down here is the border wall, okay? And would you agree, I know you didn't do the measurement, but that distance as the crow flies, that's about 1.5 miles. Is that correct?
Again,
More or less?
Sure.
I know you didn't do the measurements, but it's pretty far, right?
No.
Now, I want to ask you, let's say I'm a witness in this case. So let's say I come forward and I make a statement to you. Can you see this okay?
We can go towards the front of your,
All right.
there we go.
Better?
Yep.
All right. So let's say I'm a witness in this case and I come forward and I tell you that I was standing right behind the victim when he was shot and the house was on my left. That would put me to the west, right?
Yes.
That's where I would be. If I told you I was facing south and the house was on my left.
Sorry, y'all. I'm hungry.
Would you agree that would put me out here?
Yes.
And what if I came forward and I told you when this happened, I was 10 yards away from the house?
One thing they're not focusing on, the witness said he was standing directly behind the victim when he was shot. And the bullet went through and through the victim. Why didn't he have a bullet shot? Why didn't he have a wound? He's standing directly behind and the bullet went clear through. Had to hit him too.
That would be inconsistent with the
Highly
facts
probable.
that you observed, right?
Well, direction and distance is subjective. I mean, I don't
Well, if
think,
I say I'm facing south and the house is to my left, I'm
Let the witness
facing the border
let the
wall.
witness finish his answer.
Ooh, judges, snap.
direction and distance is subjective. For example, if I'm out in the wilderness and I don't have an idea of where it's north, or I'm just going to guess.
Okay, but let's say I'm pretty good with distance. And I tell you, I'm facing south and the house is to my left and I'm 10 yards away from the house. And I'm pretty good with distance. That's inconsistent with the facts that you observed. Is that right?
If you're good with distance and you have knowledge of northwest, east, then that would be a correct statement.
Okay. And let's say I tell you that I'm looking at the border wall and that it's 2 football fields away. If I tell you that, that's inconsistent with the facts also, right?
Correct.
Yes.
What if I tell you that the shots, as I'm standing here, are coming from my right? Shots are coming from over here. That's what I tell you. That's inconsistent with the facts of this case also, correct?
Yes.
What if I tell you that there's a horse over here
Ding, 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 ding,
There we
ding.
go.
4 minutes is up.
In between me and where the shots are coming from, and that horse got shot in this incident. That's also inconsistent with the facts. Is that right?
Right.
And what if I also tell you that while I'm standing right behind this person, the victim who gets shot, he falls over backwards and lands on his back? That's also inconsistent with the facts of this case, correct?
And again, the facts are how the body was located, or
Yeah.
The body was located on face down, correct?
correct?
There's no evidence that you saw that anybody rolled this person over. Is that right?
Again, I didn't go to the scene. I was not part of picking up the body, so any manipulation or the lack of manipulation, I wouldn't be able to testify to.
But you do know that the body was located face down, right?
That's correct.
There you go.
Okay. And if a witness tells you this person fell over backward and landed on his back, and that's where he lay, that would be inconsistent with the facts, right?
Right.
Unless somebody rolled that body over after he fell down. Is that right?
Well, it also goes back to high stress incidents. To my knowledge and the training I've received in high stress incidents, you kind of tend to block specific details of the incidents.
Do you think high stress could account for facts like this being so far different from the facts you observed on the ground?
Definitely.
You think that's high stress could do that?
Yes.
You would agree that Mr. Kelly would be under a lot of stress during this incident, correct?
Sure.
So if you're giving this person the benefit of the doubt, then you should give Mr. Kelly the same benefit of the doubt, correct?
I'm not giving anybody the benefit of the doubt. I'm just stating what my training and my experience has taught me.
That taught me
Experience regarding
a
false.
question and
correct.
comment.
And could that also be something that explains why the story is so different from the facts?
It's sure.
It's a possibility that this just could be a false report, right?
And the evidence that we gathered throughout the investigation, I don't believe so.
If somebody came forward and gave you this story, you would still say that that's a credible person who gives you this story.
That including everything else that we gathered in the investigation.
When you interviewed Daniel Ramirez, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You went into Mexico to interview him, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you go into Mexico to interview him?
Because Daniel couldn't cross into the United States.
Why not?
Legally.
You could have called him on the phone, right?
He doesn't have access to a phone.
You could have arranged some sort of Zoom call, correct?
He doesn't have access to internet.
You could have spoken with Mexican officials to arrange something,
Correct.
correct?
You
Correct.
could.
And you didn't do that, did you?
No.
You and Sheriff Hathaway crossed into Mexico to conduct a criminal investigation in Mexico, correct?
Do you know
Well,
why?
it was a witness statement, witness interview.
Is taking a witness interview part of a criminal investigation?
Yes.
Sometimes.
Was taking this witness interview part of a criminal investigation?
Yes.
Yes.
So you conducted part of a criminal investigation in Mexico, correct?
Correct.
All right, thank you very much. Redirect examination.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, well, he did give her
Detective,
3 minutes.
Defense counsel asked you a number of questions about the Celebrite download of the victim's phone. Do you recall that?
Yes, ma'am.
She asked you about text messages, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you tell us, she asked you, were there other messages on the phone?
I just want to make sure that redirect is limited in the same way that my cross-examination was limited.
Ooh.
You can continue.
And I'd like to make a proffer when we're done with this witness.
You can continue.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, something happened. Okay.
Can you
guys,
tell me, Detective, were
I don't know what happened to get this young lady and this judge so crossed with each other. Oh my gosh. This has gotten snippy as hell. I know I'm being dramatic, but this is dramatic. Holy crap. Yikes. The tension in the
were there
room.
were there other text messages on the phone?
Which phone were you talking about, Ms.
The
Hunt?
victim's phone?
Yes, there were.
And can you tell us the nature of the other text messages you observed?
Yes, so there were 2 sets of
He gave her 3
messages
additional. He had
threads,
7
one on
minutes.
his
I'm watching to see.
personal phone message, the inbox where you get from his phone number. And then he also had threads through an application called WhatsApp. Those applications from the WhatsApp threads were screenshotted by the investigator who did the download, and they were placed on an individual file for me to review. And in those WhatsApp threads were a numerous amount of family pictures. He was involved as, I believe he was a coach for his siblings or his kids, I'm sorry, soccer team in Mexico. So it was a group thread where they were exchanging practice dates, dates for the games, jerseys, etc.
Were they also discussing some kind of upcoming tournament?
Yes.
Yeah, this judge is not in a good mood. I would move.
Now, the defense showed you a picture of the defendant and the download information. Is that right?
Correct.
And that was State Defense Exhibit III, correct?
Correct.
And were you able to take a look at that image to determine whether that had any location data?
Yes,
Did it have any location data?
it did not.
When you took a look at the rest of the items that were on that Cellbrite report, defense asked you to speculate about what this picture depicted. Do you remember that?
Correct.
And based on what else you observed on the cell phone, is there anything else on that cell phone that gives you an idea what this photograph is about?
Objection, relevance. We tried to introduce other photos from the cell phone and the court didn't let us do it, so I don't
The
think.
question was
state-
directed to this particular photo, which is in evidence. The objection's overruled.
Well, if I remember correctly, that the date on that picture is on the 21st of January, 2023. A few days prior to that, there's a video, January 18th of 2023, where you can hear Mr. Buitimea speaking with a group.
Wait.
Without
The
telling
question
us,
was about the photograph. We're not getting
Yes.
into anything else.
without telling us what folks said, were you able to ascertain from the video what was happening?
Yes,
What was it?
Again, I thought the question was, what can he ascertain about this from looking at this photo, right?
Judge, the question was, the defense asked this witness to speculate what this photograph was about. And this witness observed within a couple of days of this photograph, other video that put this in context. And so that's why I'm asking the witness this question. And that was specific to the defense's question to this witness.
Does the
on
defense
cross.
have that? Does the defense have that? That
They-
other video?
They do, Judge. It's all on the Cellbrite.
I haven't been able to see the video, Judge. There was some description of a video in Detective Barba's report. We weren't able to find that on the Cellbrite.
All right, let's move on to another topic.
Just to follow up with the defense's question, are there any other things when you look at this that you think might be a possibility with respect to what you observed, based on what the defense asked you?
yes. With the binoculars that he was wearing, I believe that he might have been hunting.
You were asked about your conversation with the medical examiner's office. Is that right?
Correct.
Do you even remember who you spoke to at the medical examiner's office?
I do not.
And if Dr. Tim testified it wasn't her, do you believe that she was accurate?
Yes,
Did you write the documentation that's in the medical examiner's report?
I did not.
Were you providing that information very early on in this case?
Yes,
Was that before you even attended the autopsy?
that's correct.
Did you have any opportunity to review that documentation prior to it going into the medical examiner's report?
I did not.
Have you ever had an opportunity to determine whether it was accurate?
No, when it was presented to me yesterday was the first time I saw it.
Are there some things in that documentation that are inaccurate?
Yes.
Do you recall what the items are that are inaccurate?
I would have to refresh my recollection of the document.
Do you know who declared the Mr. Buitimea deceased?
I believe it was Deputy Lopez.
Okay, so that's your belief from what you learned that night, is that correct?
Correct.
I want to ask you about some questions the defense asked you with respect to Exhibit 130. That's the samples that you provided to RJ Lee Group. And I want to make sure I understood some of your testimony. The defense, when they were asking you those questions yesterday, asked you if all of the sample went into the same vial. At least that's how I understood the question. Is that how you collected the information, the data?
Each
Or the-
sample went into an individual vial.
And so you had how many separate vials?
5.
And so when you collected from each item, each one went into its own vial, is that right?
That's correct.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions for this witness from members of the jury? We do.
Okay, so he was equal. They both got 7 minutes. I got the munchies. That's what happens when you take a prednisone shot. Okay, so they got questions from the jury. I'm in the mood for that. Y'all, this judge ain't having it for some reason. I don't know what happened between last night and this morning, but this judge is not a happy man. I mean to tell you, he is snappy as heck today. I feel sorry for them. I wouldn't cross him today. I know the court schedule. They've got other trials coming up. Everybody has to do their thing. But you can't get mad at the defense when it's the prosecution is not keeping up their end of the bargain. They're the ones who have taken 12, 13 days, I think, including jury selection and everything. And this was supposed to be a 3-week trial. And the prosecution was supposed to rest on Friday. Then they pushed the prosecution to Monday. And then to Wednesday. Today is Thursday. Now they're saying they'll rest Friday. That leaves Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days for the defense versus day 11, 12, 13 days for the prosecution. That may be grounds for an appeal. I'm no lawyer, but I will say I understand the judge's frustration, but Mr. Kelly's rights are to fair and equal trial, a fair trial, and that includes equality. And this ain't equal. However, he did give the redirect same time he gave cross-examination. But boy, look at that young lady. She is steaming mad. Got her right here. I don't blame her.
A couple of questions from the jurors for the witness. Question, why was a hotel in Nogales, Sonora, Mexico chosen to interview the witness at instead of at the U.S.-Mexico port of entry or the Mexican consulate building?
Thank you, because this guy's an
I
illegal
believe this part of that incident didn't get clarified. We weren't in a room in the hotel. We were in the public area of the restaurant.
Oh, that's worse.
Subsequent to that, we moved to a lounge that was empty at the time, however, so accessible to the public. The reason why we moved from the restaurant to the lounge was because the restaurant was busy. There were a lot of individuals consuming in the restaurant. We went over to the lobby, and we chose that place because it was a little bit more less noisy, less crowded, and it allowed us to do the interview more appropriately.
And
Y'all,
the
that's
question was
worse.
directed towards why why weren't alternative locations of either the port of entry or the Mexican consulate used?
The location was chosen by Sheriff Hathaway, and I was under his direction.
Another question from the same juror. Why was only part of this meeting recorded?
So the recording was a decision made by Sheriff Hathaway. When I conducted the meeting with Daniel, I just took notes about our conversation. The reason why I decided to do that was because this was a highly publicized case. I didn't want to bring any unwanted attention towards us that could contaminate the interview. Because reporting somebody in public when you're sitting down is uncommon, so it's going to bring some eyes to us, and they're going to start wondering, what are you guys doing? And I didn't want those extra eyes.
I gotta pause. There's so much here. Oh my gosh, y'all. That is a crock of bull. The reason why is because the witness is not a citizen of Mexico either. He's not a citizen of the U.S. He's not a citizen of Mexico. He is an illegal in Mexico. He is from Honduras. He was worried about testifying here because he was afraid he was going to get deported when the Mexican authorities were watching the case and found that he was not a legal citizen and he's using the fake last name. So the reason they met him there instead of the U.S. consulate or at the border was because he was afraid that he was going to be deported. And they were doing everything they could to get whatever information they wanted to get. This to me is shady. This to me is so freaking wrong. I don't know if it's legal, but being wrong and legal are two different things. This here is wrong. And the recording, that's bull. That's bull. I'm sorry, that is bull.
Eyes contaminated.
All right. There may be follow-up questions by the lawyers to these questions.
Meeting in public?
Questions from another juror. You stated you received a handgun, cell phone, and a magazine from Sergeant Lopez upon arrival at the Kelly residence with the service of the first search warrant. How are these items obtained? Was there a warrant for these items prior to arrival? And the juror says, I'm just trying to make sure I'm clear.
There are two
Yes,
warrants.
the items were documented on the warrant, and they were just transferred from hand to hand. Deputy Lopez had collected them, and then he gave them to me.
All right, so they were obtained pursuant to a search warrant.
That's my belief, so yes.
Another question, if you know, in earlier testimony, Sergeant Rodriguez confirmed a photo he had taken of a single footprint at the scene, and there have been other testimonies confirmed that there were no other signs of foot traffic around the body. Yet there has been testimony by witnesses there. In your opinion, how is that possible? So the question really is, a single footprint was found, but there's been testimony of a lot of other foot traffic in the same area. How is it possible that only one footprint was found, if I understand the question correctly?
So I was not part of the collection of the body or the inspection of the surroundings. So I wouldn't be able to testify whether there was or there wasn't. And that would be my answer.
All right, final question from another juror. Was the geofence warrant executed in June, or did Google go back chronologically to January 30th?
Yeah, so when I served the warrant to Google, I set a specific time on the warrant from January 29th to, I believe it was February 1st. So it went back to that time frame.
Very well. Hand the questions to the clerk. Follow-up questions to the questions from the jurors by the state.
Do you have any idea why the restaurant was chosen as opposed to other locations? I know you indicated that the sheriff picked it.
I don't know.
Was the area quiet enough where you were that you were able to conduct the interview?
Yes.
I think that's all I had, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Larkin.
Just to be clear, you did not understand that Sheriff Hathaway had involved any officials from the Mexican government before conducting this investigation in Mexico, correct?
Not to my knowledge.
And you didn't think it was odd at all that you were going into Mexico to conduct this investigation?
Well, to my understanding and what was explained to me, it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. He has a lot of background with DEA, and they do that often.
They typically have authority to do that, correct?
I'm not a federal agent, so I'm not sure what they have authority or don't have authority.
All right. When you interviewed Daniel in Mexico, you did not record it, right? But then Sheriff Hathaway did record a portion of this after you had spoken with Daniel, correct?
Well, it was immediately.
Sorry, guys.
It was not like there was a break in between. It was kind of immediately.
So you spoke with Daniel for what, 40 minutes or so, right?
Correct.
And then Sheriff Hathaway recorded the next 6 minutes of that interview, correct?
Correct.
And you stated that you don't record it, or you didn't record this interview because you were concerned about privacy, correct?
If you were
But Sheriff
concerned
Hathaway
about
went ahead and
privacy,
recorded the
you
interview,
would
correct?
have
So he
Not made
didn't
public.
share your concerns, correct?
Correct.
Is it standard practice to do an interview and only record a small portion of that interview? That's not standard practice, right?
No.
Did Daniel, did he ever tell you that his last name was really Varela?
I don't recall.
Okay, you never noted in your report that his last name could possibly be Varela, right?
No.
And also present at that interview were 2 family members of Gabriel, correct?
That's correct.
Why?
And some guy by the name of Juan Carlos Rodriguez, correct?
Right.
You didn't look into him at all, did you?
Well, he was identified as the uncle and the facilitator of the interview.
That's what he told you, right?
And the daughters confirmed that he was the relative.
You didn't confirm that independently, right?
Correct.
I don't have anything else, Judge.
Thank you. Any other questions for this witness from any members of the jury?
Y'all, I would
Seeing none, thank you, sir.
never
You can
take
step
someone's
down.
word at
And
it if
State
I'm
can please call your next
investigating a
witness.
murder. You were
State
worried
calls
about
Agent
being in
Tursi.
public, so you didn't record it because you were in public. You shouldn't have been in public to begin with. Oh, wrong on so many freaking levels. Wrong. Sorry. Yeah.
No.
I got to calm down, y'all. This is just so wrong on so many levels. And it's wrong that the defense does not get fair and equal time, that they're required to end by a certain deadline, but yet the prosecution has gotten, 13 days? I scratch myself. 10 days? Well, no, they're day 11 of trial, plus the jury and all that. So they've
If
had
you please come over here to the
11
witness
days
stand and
of
have a seat.
testimony. 11. And the prosecution's only going to get 4 because there's no court this afternoon. This is this morning. So they're right now out at the ranch. And then you have Friday for the defense to
Morning,
finish.
Good morning.
And
Real
then
briefly, can you
Monday
introduce
they
yourself
are
to the jury?
closed. So
Yes.
Tuesday,
My
Wednesday,
name is Joshua Tursi.
3 days.
I've been with
for
the United
defense?
States Border Patrol for 11
That's
years.
crap.
I've been a supervisor for almost a year now.
Okay, I'm gonna get ahead of
Operator
that.
on the day of January 30th.
He's a supervisor,
2023.
Yes.
Border
And
Patrol.
just so we have a background, how much experience do you have operating the videos for BP?
So I've been operating the cameras for Border Patrol for Nogales Station on and off for about 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
And in that operation timeframe, have you also trained other Border Patrol agents on operating that camera system?
Yes. I'm a certified trainer for several different operations or operating systems that we have for Border Patrol. So I train other agents and I also train DoD personnel, so Department of Defense personnel, whether it's going to be National Guard, Air Guard that come down to the border for their missions.
And you were asked to provide some review of some Border Patrol surveillance videos in this case, right?
Yes.
You have permission to approach the witness?
Yes.
Agent Tursi, I just provided you Government Exhibit 146 and 147, and those are item numbers 3AF, A as in Apple, F as in Frank, and 6AF. You see both of those in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Did you review those prior to testimony today?
I did.
And you watched those videos?
I did.
All right. And before I get into those videos, those cameras on January 30th, were they operational
They were fully operational.
within specs?
Yes.
I don't know what I just meant by that, but they were, Border Patrol, they were working fine.
Yes. Usually once a shift at the beginning of our shift, we always check to make sure GPS is right, times, dates, and everything like that before we start our duty that day.
So time and dates are correct on the video.
Correct.
And in that video, we see some direction of the cameras, right?
Yes.
Do you recognize the location of where those cameras are facing?
Yes, I do.
What, do you remember the property?
Yeah, they were facing the Vermilion Ranch.
And Vermilion Ranch is,
It's going to be, I guess, east side of Nogales. I mean, depending on which camera I was used, it's either going to be east or west of the camera system.
would you know, if you know, would it be the defendant's property?
Yes.
You're going to move to admit Government Exhibit 3AF and 6AF in evidence, or Government Exhibit 146 and 147.
What is it?
They're the two DVDs.
Can you please hold them up for me?
Let me grab them for you.
Just red paper. Okay, I didn't see what you did. Red. I ask this witness a couple questions.
You may.
In reference to states 146 and 147, there are a couple, is it DVDs that are, each exhibit has one. Did you have a chance to preview it before coming in?
I did.
And did you initial this?
Did I initial the DVDs?
Yes.
No, I did not.
So you don't know what's on this individual DVD and this individual DVD?
Well, those are the ones that I saw, but I did not initial them.
How could you tell?
I guess I can't.
Okay, and then I will object until he has a chance to preview it. Plainly.
Sustained.
All right, our break agent, we'll have you review these two items, but let's talk about the area around Vermilion Ranch, you said?
Yes.
And Vermilion Ranch, just so we know, are there any pine trees in the area, in the greater area?
Yes. The north end of north of the ranch in like the Keno Springs Village area, there's a lot of tall pine trees or pine tree looking trees.
And on the video, we're not going to publish the video, but on the video, you reviewed from start to finish the relevant time periods?
Yes.
Do you remember the first time, the first date where something was picked up, something was imaged?
I believe it was around 2:40 p.m. on January 30th.
And just so we know these cameras, I'm not going to get into the operational use of these cameras because that's Border Patrol sensitive information, right?
Correct.
Those cameras, though, they span, how big of a distance do these cameras span?
They can see the immediate area within, I'd say like a 10 to 20 foot radius of the camera, all the way up to 15 plus miles, depending on the clarity of the day.
So they're operational through a vast area of the southern border.
Correct.
And are they sensitive to motion? Are they sensitive? Are you allowed to indicate that to me?
I mean, due to border security, I can't disclose exactly the operating systems of the cameras and their actual capability, but they're fairly sensitive, yes.
And it becomes, and you're operating the camera, so are you able to, not get into some of the details, but are you able to direct where the cameras go if you get an indication that something's happening?
Yes, I actually manually control the cameras. They're not automated.
Were you given a contact? Did someone inform you of an event that happened on January 30th around 2:42?
Yes, around 2:30 p.m., I received a phone call from BPA Jeremy Morcell that he received a phone call from George Allen Kelly about subjects on his property.
And what did you do in response to that phone call?
I immediately put the exact information that BPA Morcell told me, I put that on via radio to the agents in the area, and then I notified my supervisor so he could call the Santa Cruz County Sheriff's Department and get them involved.
And just so we know, I'll have you review these, but you've reviewed 3AF and 4AF
Yes.
or 6AF prior, right?
Yes.
And we'll get confirmation on this, but is there anyone on the video other than SO, Border Patrol, or the defendant and his dogs?
No.
That's all the questions I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. Cross-examination.
Thank you, Judge. The pine trees noted on Keno Springs Ranch, is that what you said?
I refer to it as Keno Springs Village, the immediate area north of his property. It's like a small neighborhood with pine trees around it.
And that's at least a mile away from his home?
I couldn't tell you exactly, but I'd say it's within a mile.
It's what?
Probably within a mile.
Okay. I mean, he has a large property, so it's not like they're next door neighbors or anything, is it? You look at this terrain all the time. It's a
Yes.
good distance away.
Yeah, it's a decent distance.
Okay. So there's no pine trees on his property, on George Allen Kelly's property, is there?
I'm not sure about every single tree on his property.
But you sure know about a pine tree on someone else's property.
Well, it's in a surrounding neighborhood where there's a lot of them.
Okay. So that's some other location.
Yes, just
Okay.
north of this ranch.
And then you mentioned that you got a call from Border Patrol, Marcel, and isn't it true that the information wasn't just that there was subjects on the property, but that it was even more intense than that, like there was weapons or backpacks and all the things that you should be concerned about, correct?
Yes, I was just paraphrasing the phone call.
Okay, but you left out the serious part.
Yes.
Okay. And now, you noted in your report that speaking to Border Patrol Agent Marcel, that the defendant that stated that the gunshots may have been in the distance, but is unsure. That didn't come from Marcel. Is there anyone else you might have talked to?
No, the only person I talked to on the phone was Marcel. And that was
And
the second.
The
phone call.
only testimony that Marcel has to this court is he heard gunshots in his direction and he saw his horse running by. How does that change happen on your report?
That's how I
Was he
remember.
misrepresenting it to you, or did you sum up again or misrepresent that on your report? Which one?
I put on my report from what I remember the conversation was.
So then you're saying that Marcel was potentially could have been misrepresenting if he testified as something different.
That's-
Cover thy anatomy much?
There were other people that you observed in your videos. There was a group of 3 men running, of which Border Patrol intercepted them on a roadway, and one of them appeared to be hiding and getting and avoiding that Border Patrol agent. Do you know which view I'm looking at that I'm discussing right now?
I don't, because it didn't pertain to that area near his ranch.
Well, it's all on your videos that you supplied the state, which supplied me. And so there's these other incidences of some people on top of a hill also hovering over, looking down, a small group maybe. Did you consider that in your assessment of what was going on?
They
Yes.
very well could have been.
What you're
part of the
referring to is the
situation.
people on top of a hill that are looking down. That's actually going to be, I'd say, approximately 4 miles to the east and south of the international boundary in Mexico.
And it's closer to the 6 o'clock hour, correct? Which allows them the time from 2:30 to 6
Oh,
to
yeah,
get in that general direction, correct?
I
definitely.
don't recall the exact time of when
Okay.
they were recorded on top of the hill. I believe it was before.
He
the
does not
incident.
want to
It was
admit it,
Before
y'all.
the shift when I came in.
I got to
At
get
6
a better
p.m.?
mic thing.
No, it was prior to that.
No, sir. And the different people that were around and the Border Patrol, anyone bother to get information that you're aware of to determine who these people were?
The ones on top of the hill?
And the ones that I mentioned that were being chased down by a Border Patrol agent.
3-4 hours
The ones
later,
on top
they
of the
could
hill
have
were
been
in
them.
Mexico, so we can't really obtain information about them or who they are.
So if they're on top of the hill and they might have a walkie-talkie too, maybe they're lookouts?
Yes, it's possible.
Okay. Because being on the hill allows the elevation to talk to people that.
Oh, I like where she's going. And I have a question. If I was a juror, when you found the radio, did anybody get on the radio and speak in Spanish? And to see if anybody responded? Did anybody try the radio? My humble opinion.
They're on the lower grounds to get to their locations, correct?
Correct.
And it's very hard for you to record all the activity because these people that are commuting in these areas understand where the cameras might be, correct?
Yes.
They also seem to travel through these ravines, arroyos, to get to their locations, which hinders the ability for you to see, correct?
Yes, they usually take routes that are usually harder for us to detect them.
And the fact that there's foliage everywhere, in some places more dense than others, makes it hard in that area to locate people commuting in that direction, correct?
That is correct.
Now, we know that we have information to believe that first from Mr. Kelly, if there were 5 individuals traveling across this property, of which Mrs. Kelly saw 2, okay? That's just earlier testimony. Then we also learned in this case, and I'm just setting you up for the question, of people that could have been at this location, okay? And then I have a camera question. There were possibly 2 or maybe 4 people at the location around where the body was found. Now, with that said, you can't find any of these people, and yet we hear testimony and admission of being there. How does your cameras help this case?
Good question, my dear.
I don't know how they would help the case, but
I'll pass the witness.
She
Ask
got
the
a
question.
testimony in.
I thought he said he couldn't help. How it help?
I don't know how. Can you repeat the question?
How would it help?
All right, he answered the question. He doesn't know.
Okay.
Correct.
Oh, who said that? Who said that? I got to go back. Who said
Agent
that? Was
Tursi,
that the
referring
judge?
to the message or the communication you had with Agent Marcel.
Can you repeat the question?
How would it help?
All right, he answered the question. He doesn't know.
Oh,
Okay,
that
correct.
judge is snapping. I have no idea what happened between the judge and the defense, but
Agent
that
Tursi,
judge
referring
is
to the
snapping.
message or the communication you had with Agent Marcel.
Vince, what did you do?
Do you recall what he told you?
Yes, he told me that George Allen Kelly told him via cell phone that he saw 5 subjects carrying large packs with rifles and they had shot at him.
And when Agent Marcel tells you that, I mean,
What
Agent Marcel,
did you do to piss off the judge?
Border Patrol is trained on conveying correct information, right?
That is correct.
Because lives are in play when there's an active shooter.
Yes, especially with a situation with a call like that, it's taken very seriously.
Okay, but you're not questioning whether or not there's veracity to that statement. You assume it's true because someone is claiming there's an active shooter.
Correct.
And going to the images, I just want to make sure we understand that the one image with people on a hill, that was in Mexico.
Yes.
Are there routinely people up on hills in Mexico as scouts and people who watch?
So that
Yes.
hill that she's referring to and that I'm referring to, I remember seeing a subject up there wearing a red shirt. And it was prior to my shift coming in when I reviewed the footage. And there's typically people up there 24/7.
And of the image about people being chased down, that's not anywhere near the location of defendant's property?
I actually am not aware of exactly where another group of
But
illegal
how
aliens were
far
found.
can people travel when
And
4
subject
hours
to
on
recall
foot?
for admission, I'm done with this witness, Your Honor. We'll have him come after the break.
Any questions for this witness from any members of the jury?
How long does it take for
Very well.
someone to
Seeing
run?
none,
on
you can
foot?
step down, sir. I think the
in 4
prosecutor will
hours.
talk to you about what they might do. further, and you can call your next witness.
The government's going to call Detective Ainza.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in the matter before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Thank you, sir. You know the drill.
We can walk 2 to 4 miles per hour. That's walking. That, y'all, is not running in a healthy walk. So let's just 3 miles per hour times almost 4 hours. That's 12 miles.
Ready, Detective?
I think
morning.
not. If I
Yeah,
was a
proceed,
juror,
Your
I'd be going,
Yes, sir.
Detective Ainza, can you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Nice. Good morning. My name is Jorge Ainza. My last name is Ainza, and I'm one of the detectives assigned to the Criminal Investigations Division in Santa Cruz County Sheriff's Office.
All right, I'm gonna cover some housekeeping things first, lay the foundation so we get some admission of some evidence in this case, right?
That's fine.
And just so the jury knows, were you the lead investigator in this case?
Yes, I was.
And just so we have the time period, when were you called in to assist on this investigation?
I received a call from my sergeant, which is the supervisor for CID, named Sergeant Flores. I got the call at 6:29.
I'm gonna start off with government exhibits. Just 1 second. We're going to start with some photographs first, and then we'll cover some of the other physical items here before we get into our time period. So you were called to the scene and you took photographs on January 30th? Sorry, the search warrant I'm talking about. Let me scratch this. I'm doing a poor job. Let's go back in time and make sure we lay out the time period. You were called to the case and what time?
At 6:29 in the evening.
And where were you called to?
I was called to respond to the Santa Cruz County Sheriff's Office, CID.
All right, that's the building next door to the courthouse.
Yes, it's down the hill.
All right, at 6:29, did you stay at that facility?
Yes, I did.
And what time did you actually eventually go to the scene?
I arrived at the Kelly Ranch a little after midnight. I believe it was 00:39, which is 12:39 in the early mornings on the 31st.
On the 31st.
Yes.
When you're at CID, you're communicating with officers on scene?
Yes,
You're communicating with Border Patrol?
that's correct.
Communicating with dispatch?
That's correct.
And you also do interviews of Mr. Kelly and Mrs. Kelly
That is correct.
when they come to the scene, to the CID building.
That's correct.
And then you also prepared the first search warrant.
That is correct.
Search warrant 007, right?
SW 23-007. That's correct.
And then a little past midnight, you go out and execute that search warrant.
That's correct.
Miss Hunley's got 34. And you took photographs on that morning?
Yes, it was the early mornings on the 31st.
I'm going to show you. I mean, have you reviewed government exhibit 34?
Yes, I have.
And those are photographs of the evening of the search warrant 007?
That is.
Inside and outside?
That's correct.
Wait for Miss Hunley to. We could talk about the electronic version. If Miss Hunley wants to drive for me. And you reviewed that government exhibit 34, the actual physical disc that has been submitted to the clerk?
That's correct.
We'll find that disc. I'm going to show you just for you. So we're going to admit I'm gonna move to admit all these photographs. We admitted some of them partial, but we're gonna admit all of them. So when Miss Hunley, get him up?
I have them. And this is
Just for the witness, just for the witness. Like I said, there's been subsets admitted. You've been sitting the entire trial, right?
Yes, I have.
All right. So we're gonna show.
I got the screen up.
If Miss Hunley can go through that at a pretty brisk pace. Those look familiar to you?
Yes, they do.
I really want to know what they did to tick off that judge. I really do. I don't know what they did, but they ticked him off good. Prosecution is not having a good day. I mean, the defense is not having a good day. I don't know what they're doing. They're doing something.
As she's scrolling through those, I saw that those also include pictures from a different search warrant, right?
That's correct.
What search warrant was that?
That is SW 23-008.
So there's also photographs in there from, technically there's two search warrants on the 31st. The early morning hours and then later in the day, right?
That's correct.
And Exhibit 34 contains photographs from both search warrants.
That's correct.
And there's also pictures of autopsy on there?
I haven't seen them yet.
Okay.
It's still scrolling. There are the autopsy photos.
Is she scrolling through? All those look familiar to you?
They all do. Yes.
You're the photographer?
Yes, I am.
Those are fair and accurate representations of the photographs you took?
Yes, they are.
Was that? Yeah, just to make sure we comply.
Sorry, guys, I had to shut my door. What in the world? I think I'm just going to skim through this, y'all. Get to him actually asking.
Sorry.
4168 to what?
4519. After that is pictures of evidence, and we want to comply, so we're going to take out some of those photographs. So for this time being, 4168 through 4519.
under our 404B issues that we have, which are,
Let's pick this up. I think I know what's going on. I want to be sure.
We're going to let that roll. I don't know how he got up on the wrong side of the bed, but he did. And it's a shame. He's a good judge. I still like him. But dang, is he cranky today? I get it. He said, I mean, they're supposed to be done with this. I'm sorry, I'm typing at the same time. I am putting in the timestamps for this morning's hearing. I do that so you guys can get an idea of where to find certain witnesses. And I can come back and find them as well. It helps all of us. Oh, they're still on the thing. I know I've been a little bit dramatic about the situation here, but I am greatly concerned at the attitude of, wait a minute, that's a man. Then it was the woman. So that's Roberto. That's David. Who in the heck is this? Oh. So I am highly concerned at the situation with, oh, that's right, they brought him back. With the situation between the judge and the defense right now. He is very short with him, and it's not pretty. Not pretty at all. I'll put a question mark here. I didn't get them. Just to preserve the timestamp. So what's happening here is they're doing a sidebar, and they're doing them now by with the headphones for both keeping people's personal spaces. It's quicker. It's a little more secure. The witness cannot see it, which is a good thing. Okay. And we're back.
We found Exhibit 34, and so we're going to come at break. We'll come back to Exhibit 34. You also took photographs of the outside of the property, right? With the tree?
That's correct.
And some, I believe, some weathered shell casings. Is that right?
That's correct.
I'm going to show Defense Counsel, Government Exhibit 46.
I miss having the live camera because I can't see what they're showing.
You took photographs of the outside where the tree branch was, right, Detective?
That's correct.
All right. I'm going to show Government Exhibit 46, and I have Bates numbers 1614 to 1656. Detective, as she's, oh, I don't want to distract.
I mean,
46 of those bait numbers.
Excuse me.
why are they?
Exhibit 46 is admitted.
Detective, I'm going to show you. We'll just put it on. This is just to remind you what 46 is. I'm just going to show you a couple photographs from this, okay?
That's fine.
First, I'm going to show you permission to publish, Your Honor.
Granted.
I still am questionable what happened with the judge and the people.
That's a picture of what, Detective?
That is a picture of the horse that was located inside the paddock, which shows 2 ladders on the first fence line.
And just so the jury knows, what is a paddock?
It's a piece of property that's fenced in between 2 fence lines just to keep horses, cows, that is saturated to a certain area for a certain time.
Fenced in, right?
That's correct.
I'll also show you, and just so you know, that's exhibit 46, image base number 1629. We have a reference here. I'm going to show you exhibit 46, base number 1646. You recognize that photograph?
Yes, I do.
What's that a photograph of?
This photograph is depicting the rear of the residence. You can see the first fence line. Right behind the fence line is the smoker. And then you show the back of the residence.
And there's a canine in this picture.
Yeah, to the left bottom, there's a black canine.
I'm going to show you a picture. Base number 1649, same exhibit. What's that a photograph of?
That's a photograph of one of the branches, trees located within the paddock.
You also took photographs of the victim at the autopsy, right?
That's correct.
I'm going to show defense counsel, government exhibit 72.
I wish I could see the exhibits, y'all. I want to see the exhibits. I know I'm getting cranky about it, but I want to see the exhibits. Yay, my timestamps are working. Woo-hoo. Y'all, that's a big deal. Learning how to do all this is a big deal. Timestamps and everything else. Okay, what are you taking so much time for? The judge is real short with the defense, but yet the prosecution? You want to talk about time? Look at them.
Se-
72.
72 is
No objections, Your Honor.
exhibit
72.
72 is admitted.
I'm trying hard to keep my patience with you, them. But
You also did interviews of Miss Wanda and the defendant, right? Ms. Wanda Kelly and the defendant, right?
That's correct.
It sounds like you're going to move into a new area right now. Is that right? So that's a good time to take our mid-morning break. Is that all right? It's 9:45. We're going to take about a 20-minute break. I'll stay here with the lawyers. We'll come back about 10:05, depending on how long this takes.
Maybe the
to talk to
judge
them.
will get
We'll
himself.
be in recess until about 10:05.
Maybe he'll get himself in a
Excuse the jury.
Ooh, he is on a tangent. Maybe, maybe not. I'm hoping. I hope. I don't know. I really want to know what pissed him off. And yes, I'm using the pissed off word because it is appropriately used.
Thank you. Please be seated. The record show the absence of the jury. Ms. Larkin, you said you wanted to make an offer of proof concerning Detective Barba. You can do so. The court reporter and the clerk will remain in the courtroom to record your offer of proof.
Judge, can you hear me? Oh, okay. Cool. So in addition to obtaining testimony about the false report provided by Ramon, the cross-examination was going to continue to explore inconsistencies between Ramon and Daniel in terms of the inconsistencies that they've made with each other, as well as inconsistencies that their statements were with the physical evidence. The cross-examination was going to further explore the interview that took place with Daniel in Mexico, including exploring inconsistent statements between what he told investigators in that interview and what he testified to in trial in this case. That interview is going to continue to explore the fact that Daniel provided a false name to law enforcement in this case. And the cross-examination would also go into generally the shell casing testing that was ordered, the forensic testing that could have been ordered, the forensic testing that was not ordered, and further exploring the double standard between the way these so-called witnesses were evaluated versus the way that Mr. Kelly was evaluated. And the cross-examination would continue to explore the inadequacy in this investigation in terms of interviewing people who came forward, who placed themselves at the crime scene as possible suspects. That's it.
Wait a minute.
And we just want to make a further record. Sorry, Denise, you okay? Make a further record that the fact that our cross-examination was significantly limited violates Mr. Kelly's right to confrontation of these witnesses and due process.
Thank you. Please be seated. The record show the absence of the jury. Ms. Larkin, you said you wanted to make an offer of proof concerning Detective Barba. You can do so. The court reporter and the clerk will remain in the courtroom to record your offer of proof.
Judge, Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Cool. So in addition to obtaining testimony about the false report provided by Ramon, the cross-examination was going to continue to explore inconsistencies between Ramon and Daniel in terms of the inconsistencies that they've made with each other, as well as inconsistencies that their statements were with the physical evidence. The cross-examination was going to further explore the interview that took place with Daniel in Mexico, including exploring inconsistent statements between what he told investigators in that interview and what he testified to in trial in this case. That interview is going to continue to explore the fact that Daniel provided a false name to law enforcement in this case. And the cross-examination would also go into generally the shell casing testing that was ordered, the forensic testing that could have been ordered, the forensic testing that was not ordered, and further exploring the double standard between the way these so-called witnesses were evaluated versus the way that Mr. Kelly was evaluated. And the cross-examination would continue to explore the inadequacy in this investigation in terms of interviewing people who came forward, who placed themselves at the crime scene as possible suspects. That's it.
Wait a minute.
And we just want to make a further record. Sorry, Denise, you okay? Make a further record that the fact that our cross-examination was significantly limited violates Mr. Kelly's right to confrontation of these witnesses and due process.
Stiffened up. So I just stiffened up a little bit. Stiffened up. Did your legs stiffen up? Did you stiffen up? Did you take a walk? I could run you this pad too. No. Yeah. Just bring in the jury.
just for procedure, we're just going to have.
Please rise.
Please be seated, and the record to show the presence of all the jurors. Mr. Jetty's here for the state, and defense counsel and the defendant are present. The witness can retake the stand.
We're going to recall Agent Tursi, Your Honor.
All right, very well. Recalling. Looks like we're ready. Ready?
Agent Tursi, I just showed you, again, Government Exhibit 146 and 147, which corresponds to items 3AF and 6AF. You see those? Do you have an opportunity to review those?
Yes,
An opportunity to verify that that's the images you reviewed earlier?
I did.
You're going to move to admit Government Exhibit 146 and 147 to evidence?
Noticed his initials, so no objection now.
146 and 147 are admitted.
And no more questions.
And thank you, sir. Thanks for your patience. You can step down. You're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Oh, wait, hold on.
Cross.
Hold on.
they added something to it. Do I have a right to cross that?
Okay, sure. Cross-examination.
Thank you, Judge. I'm just grabbing a couple of photos. You need to get these marked here. Can I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
Agent, I'd like to go ahead and show you 3 exhibits that are now marked as triple K, defense triple K, defense triple L, and defense triple M. Okay, would you take a look at these? Yes. And you could just look at them at the table there. Also, show the jurors in. Just take a look at it.
Okay.
Okay. Are you able to identify these 3 photos?
The location?
Are you able to identify, is this something that would have came from your surveillance?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, I don't have access to your surveillance equipment, do I?
No, you do not.
Okay, so this had been provided on some of the videos that you may be within these two videos that has been already entered into evidence, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so these accurately depict you possibly during this time period looking around for anyone that might be located in this area based on this call, correct?
This is a separate area from the area of the call.
It's your cameras though, correct?
Correct.
It's provided to me, correct?
Yes.
Okay, what area is this call?
This is actually, these subjects are climbing up to a road called Bordone Loop, which is going to be, I'm going to call it northeast of Aloha Loop, where it meets Aurora.
Okay. Do these photos accurately depict that?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to enter all three exhibits into evidence. I've already showed the statement.
Without objection, exhibits triple K, triple L, and triple M are admitted.
Thank you, Judge. Now, what are the dates on these three photos?
1/30/2023, 1/30/2023, and 1/30/2023. And they're all about within 2 minutes of each other.
What time?
6:08:04 to 6:09:22 p.m.
Okay. In the evening?
Yes, p.m.
And about, do you know how far this location is from Mr. Kelly's ranch?
I would approximately it's probably close to 7 miles
Okay.
to the
Now,
west.
Are these appear to be young men?
I mean, I can't tell. I would assume that they are men, but I mean, I can't definitely tell from the images.
Okay. Do they appear to be carrying backpacks?
One of them looks like he has a small pack on his back, and the other two do not.
And were you able to check the other folks? Do they approach a road?
Yes.
Do they approach ultimately, if you recall, Border Patrol intercepting at least two of them?
I don't recall that exactly. There's several operators that operate these camera systems, so it might have been a different operator at the time.
Well,
Of these.
why would different operators put these on our evidence if this is what you're capturing for our case?
I
You don't know.
I don't know. No.
So you're speculating when you say that, and you're speculating the distance a little bit. You don't know for sure.
Yeah, I'm approximating the distance,
Okay.
but
All right. Now, these look like healthy people that are out there hiking this terrain, correct?
they don't appear to be injured. No.
They don't appear to be heavyweight people. They look like they're physically fit just from appearance from this.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. Can I have the photos?
Mhm.
They're a little large, Judge. So can I just pass them amongst the jurors to look at?
Any objection? Yes, you may.
Thank you. So the problem is there were people out there. Should I wait, Judge?
No, you're on.
There were people out there, and now this could have been almost 3 hours later from the incident, and there are people out there on the move amongst others that could be out there, correct?
Yes, I mean we would typically encounter several groups of illegal aliens a shift.
Okay. So the fact that you can't show us anything on the ranch, only around the areas outside of the ranch, means the camera system offers no definite assistance in this case, correct?
I mean that's for you guys to decide if it offers a sentence or not.
So we do know there were people there. We just don't have anything that supports or doesn't support this case as far as his ranch is concerned, correct?
As far as my video footage, yes.
And if there was interception, and I watched the video, and jurors can always try to play it, it's very lengthy and hard to deal with, but there were interception of Border Patrol to these people when they got to the road, you would think there would be an incident report made? Is that a procedure that Border Patrol would do based on your knowledge and training?
Yes, every apprehension is recorded through usually 2 different databases or systems that we use to record apprehensions, location, dates, times, and agents involved.
Nothing further.
Any redirect?
I'm just going to collect the evidence.
Thank you. Again, jurors, we publish that now because it's in the context of, we just heard the testimony. You'll have that exhibit. It's been admitted along with all other exhibits that are admitted when you retire to deliberate. You may go.
Agent Tursi, you received a phone call from Border Patrol Agent Marcel on the January 30th?
Yes,
Approximately what time was that again?
2:30 p.m.
And after that phone call, did you manually move cameras over to the location where the incident
I did.
reported to you?
I did.
Any capturing of anyone other than Border Patrol, SO, or Mr. Kelly?
No, not in the immediate area.
And of those photos that were just shown to you, those photos are from a distance away, right?
Yeah, it's a good distance away.
And do you know, if you know, when we ask Border Patrol for all surveillance along this region, we ask for everything? Do you know if that's what our request was?
Yes, and typically when we pull the footage, we'll pull it before the incident, a good amount of time after it, and we'll pull all the cameras that could possibly see that area.
We ask for it all, and then we give it all.
Correct.
All right. No more questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any follow-up questions for this witness, many members of the jury? Very well. Seeing none, can this witness now be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you again for your patience. I can take those. I'll give them to the clerk and your excuse. Thank you. I'll give the exhibits to the clerk, and I think we're recalling Detective Ainza. All right, very well. Yes, please. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, permission for some leeway for the witness to put some gloves on. We're going to go through some physical evidence.
Yes, sir.
Detective Ainza, can you step down, put some gloves on for me? We're going to need some scissors. Thank you. We're going to start off, Detective Ainza, with item number 16JA. I'll get the exhibit numbers once we start using them. 16JA back there. Exhibit 78, I'm sorry. Just go ahead and open that for me.
I'm sorry, what's the number?
78.
7.
78. 78. 78. And Detective, that we're not this is not a show and tell this time because we're just going to make sure we move to admit everything. Is that the backpack that you photographed or someone photographed on the day of?
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah, we should get the microphone. It's been admitted, right? I want you to, can you hold that backpack up real quick? I know there's items in it. We'll keep the items in. Is it zipped? Detective, on that backpack, is there any damage on that backpack other than the cut straps?
The only damage is those straps that were cut by Sergeant Rodriguez.
I want you to take your time, review it. Is there any bullet holes, bullet strikes anywhere on that backpack?
Actually, when I was photographing this backpack during my processing, I did not notice any other damages aside from the straps being cut.
And as you review it now, no damage,
No
right?
damage other than the straps that were cut.
All right, you can put that back in the bag. I believe Exhibit 78 has already been admitted. And you can take it back over there to the table. We're looking for Exhibit 79.
Apologize for the interruption, but can I have, before you tie it up, can I have a refresher what's in that bag, please?
It's the backpack and belonging inside the backpack.
Can we just,
Sure.
does the court mind if I view it real quick?
No, I was just going to suggest that. Go ahead.
And this is all omitted, correct?
Yes.
And would it be okay if we just pull one out and then put it back in and then I'll?
Just go, why don't you just go take a look at it? How about that?
Want to get some gloves for her? Can you go get some gloves for her in case she wants to? And just for the record, I've got April 4th as the date that Exhibit 78 was admitted. I guess I'm.
Are you just asking to verify that?
I'm just
That's
asking to
okay.
verify.
It is admitted?
It is admitted.
Backpack has been out already, Judge.
April 4th, Your Honor. And just so we have a clean record, Exhibit 78 also contains the fanny pack. Can you bundle that up and bring it back over? I want you to stand over there and just look at exhibit number 79. Open that exhibit just to yourself. I want to see if you recognize what's in that exhibit. Yes, please. And I think this has been admitted already. I want to verify on April 4th. Okay. Your Honor, will move to have him publish again.
I don't remember what it is. It
It's a wallet. I'm sorry. It's the
Wallet?
victim's wallet.
granted.
Can you go, detective? Can you go to the jury? It's already been admitted, detective. So, and walk and open the bill and just, so you can take the cash out of there too and just show the jury what's in exhibit 79. And detective, as you put that back, how many pesos are in there? What's the total currency value? That's what I should ask you. $1,640 pesos, 1,640 pesos.
That's correct.
All right, you can put that in the wallet and return it back to the item. We'll have you seal up later. So the clerk should have Exhibit 80 for you. And this is when I want you to open it without, don't show it to the jury. I want you to open it and tell me what's inside that. I want you to open it. And what's inside there? It's a clear bag. What's inside there?
Black and cover Kenwood radio.
Is that the radio found with the victim?
Yes.
Counsel is, if wants to go up, we're going to move to admit Government Exhibit 80 into evidence. Is that what appears to be the radio?
Yeah.
Move to admit Government Exhibit 80 into evidence.
No objection.
Exhibit 80 is admitted. Granted.
Can you publish in front of the jury box for me? Thank you, Detective. You can put that back in the bag for me. Next time I'll show you Government Exhibit 81, which I show as admitted on 4-4.
Correct.
All right. Open that for me and you can permission to publish to the jury.
What is it?
It's the phone. It's the cell phone of the victim.
Granted.
You can publish. I can help you out. It's envelope. All right, Detective, I'm showing you on the ground there, Exhibit 82. Can you put it on the, bring it over to the table? And I'm gonna have you open it. I want you, we're gonna look inside. We're gonna identify some items, okay?
Are these admitted already?
Mr. Judge, I gave you the wrong box. I apologize.
Oh. Wait, hold on, we'll just keep this one. Which one is this one?
That one's 112.
We just do 112. That's fine. Do 112.
Is it admitted yet?
No. All right, Jeff, go ahead and open that for me. So I believe, just for the record, 112 is the actual box, which we're not
And I'm
moving.
talking without a
I
mic
guess we have
on.
to omit the box, but
Basically, I just said.
item
the judge is not-
112.1 is the jacket. That jacket, the clerk's going to give you the jacket, has been admitted on April 2nd.
They've already done this. Why are we doing it again? And on top of that, the judge is very irritated because they're taking so long.
Detective Ainza, I want you to look in box
And
one.
so-
You can put that down. Put that down. I want you to look in the box
They
112
are,
because it's the other
um,
items belonging to the victim. I want you. Do you recognize those items? And let Miss
down.
Kathy, let Kathy take a peek in there to verify what you're. Oh, you have to. There's envelopes, right? All right. Let's do one at a time, Detective.
Okay,
Pull
so
one of those out.
need to have a demo.
Move the box kind of to the.
They'll have it back when they go in to deliberate. The prosecution has taken 13 days when they said that they were going to be done Friday.
Which item are you
Then they
pulling
said
out?
they're going to be done Monday. Then they were going to be done yesterday. And then they said they're going to be done today. The judge is fed up
43.5 JA.
while they're adding all this in. So the prosecution
We'll
was
call that
told the court will
112.2.
finish Thursday. Now, they'll be in trial tomorrow. This afternoon, they went out to the ranch. They'll have a full day of trial tomorrow. Monday, they will not have trial on Monday unless the judge requires it and
Take a
changes
look
their
inside there.
schedule.
And
And if
show,
that's the case, if they
show
don't, they're
counsel.
going to sit here and only have 3 days to present the defendant's side of the case.
what does that appear to be?
His attorneys are really upset. The defendant,
We're going to
Mr.
move to admit. I'm sorry. Does that look familiar to you?
or not
Move
happy.
to admit government exhibit 112.2.
No objection.
112.2 is admitted.
You can keep it there since everyone's up there. Just move that to the side. Pull out the next one for me.
43.7 JA.
All right. Do the same procedure with counsel.
Sorry you couldn't hear me. I accidentally pushed a button when I got up earlier. It happened. Can you hear me now?
What does that appear to be, Detective?
I'm also supposed to have a Zoom meeting right now. So I've got two things going at once. So if you hear me cut off and you just listen to the trial, and then I'll be back. That'll be great.
I'm going to move to admit government exhibit. We'll call it 112.3. Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Sorry. Pull out the next one for me.
112.3 is admitted. That's right. 43.6 J.
Detective, what does that appear to be? You're
No
move
objection.
move to admit government exhibit 112.4.
112.4 is admitted.
Yay. Thank
We'll
you.
publish at the end, Your Honor. We're just economizing. Next one.
Are these purported to be items that the victim was wearing
That's correct, Your Honor.
or were in the backpack?
Items he's wearing, Your Honor.
He was wearing.
He's wearing. Huh?
All right.
Items he's wearing.
43.4 J.
Oh my gosh. This is taking forever, y'all. I'm sorry.
What does that appear to be, Detective?
The black hoodie sweatshirt.
Okay. What are they arguing about? This is evidence. It's the fanny pack. It's The big bag had a
We're going to mark
backpack
it
and a pack.
government exhibit 112.5, and that's sweatpants, correct? Move to admit, Your Honor.
No objection.
112.5 is admitted.
Yay! Oh my gosh,
You
y'all.
need to put some of those on the ground to give you more room on the table, Detective.
All of that. All of that. Oh my God. Oh.
Sure, you can. I want you, don't worry about it. Just open it up the same procedure. And when you look inside, I want you to verify what's inside.
Oh my gosh, I thought this was done. What are we doing?
What does that be? What does that item appear to be?
Brown color, tan color pants.
Okay, we have already seen this.
Your Honor,
What are
permission
we
to
doing?
admit 112.6.
Okay, now they're
No
admitting
objection.
individual
112.6
items
is
versus
admitted.
the whole backpack. Okay, we-
43.9 JA.
Okay, I heard something on my Zoom. One of the ladies has 10 kids. So anyway, they admitted the entire backpack. Now they're pulling out the T-shirts, admitting the individual items. There were
What does that
multiple
item
shirts.
appear to be,
There
Detective?
was food, which they took out because they couldn't leave canned food
The
or
boots?
whatnot in.
Move to admit government exhibit 112.7.
No
We've
objection.
seen these. Why are we readmitting?
112.7 is admitted.
43.8 JA.
I can see more on this over here, guys. If I'm looking, don't be offended. Let me fix this a little more so you guys can see more of the. There. So this woman right here, the lady with the curly hair in the upper corner under the flag is a defendant's attorney. She is verifying what is being admitted.
What
No
does it appear to be,
objection.
Detective?
Brown leather belt.
Your Honor, move to admit government exhibit 112.8.
Why are we doing this?
No
This should
objection.
have been done.
112.8 is admitted.
43.3
Okay.
JA.
That's the last item in the box, right?
Yes, it is.
Why is my. There we go.
What does that item appear to be, Detective?
I apologize that this is taking forever. I'm going to skim through this, guys. This is ridiculous.
They're separate.
This is going to take over. So what we're going to do is they're just showing the clothing to the jury. She's just validating each individual piece, the showing it to the jury. I'm sorry, guy. I'm not going to sit here for. Look at.
There's
Did that guy just do what I thought he did? Oh no! Snap it! He did not. Oh my gosh! Guy right here taking pictures in court. Oh! I'd be surprised if that judge should not kick him out because that's a no. You do not use your cell phone to take pictures in court. Okay, I can't believe it. I don't know who that guy is. He doing it again?
You, Detective. Real quick,
I-
Detective.
I'm sorry.
6. Can you make sure those are the outside pants? Can you take those out? As you found the victim, so we understand the dress layering. What time of year is the shooting happening?
Late January, wintertime.
Wintertime.
Oh.
Wintertime?
Wintertime, yeah.
And the shirt we saw was a shirt, and it was a shirt with a B. And
Now
also
they're
the
showing
sole.
the pants. They're showing the. What is this one? The boot. They're just showing his clothes, guys. We've already seen them. Please forgive me. This will take all.
17.1 JA, which is Government Exhibit 83.
Okay, let's get him on the witness stand. There we go.
May I take this witness?
Yes.
Some questioning in reference to this?
Yes.
Okay. So you mentioned synced.
That's what it is, synced. That's the wording.
Who did that?
I don't have an answer for that. I was just told to review it and that it was synced.
Then therefore, Your Honor, I'll object to the state's Exhibit 57 as being altered, and he cannot authenticate it. Here you go.
Want to ask some more questions?
Sure.
All right. So sustained absent further foundation.
You watched the interview,
Yes, I did.
and you're the one that did the interview.
Yes.
And did you watch the transcription that was embedded into the interview, the video,
I watched the whole video in its entirety. Yes, I did.
and the transcription?
Yes.
Were they in conformity with each other?
Yes.
They match?
Yes.
Your Honor, I make an avowment it was also done by a licensed transcriber too, Your Honor.
Where is that certification, Your Honor? I just need a copy of it so I can agree.
Is that your objection, or do you have any other objection?
Again, it's altered not by him, and so I'm going to continue that objection.
The objection's overruled. And remember, and this is part of the reason why it's overruled, but instruction to the jury, this is a recording, it's a video recording, correct? And the evidence is what you hear from the recording. Apparently the transcription that has been synced is there again, it's for demonstrative purposes. So what you read, if you read it, is for demonstrative purposes. If that is not consistent with what you hear on the video or the recording, then the recording and what you hear is the evidence. All right? So the evidence is the recording, what you hear from the voices. The subtitles are just there to assist you for demonstrative purposes. But if what you hear is different from what's transcribed, what you hear controls. With that, the objection is overruled.
Take that,
The exhibits, what is that, 57?
57.
All right, thank you, Blair. Being 57 with that is admitted.
We'll show you Government Exhibit 131. This is the first clip.
Sorry, y'all. This is. We're gonna fast forward.
Let's lay some.
There, finally found the paper.
It'll be admitted, providing that additional foundation is laid.
Detective, what is, say, Exhibit 131?
It is a CD. It's white in color. Can't see the brand name on it, but it has my initials. And it says first clip.
First clip of Miss Wanda Kelly.
That's correct.
Thank you, Detective. And you reviewed that?
So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
You reviewed the disc?
Yes, I did.
Does that appear to be what you're, let me back up. You interviewed Miss Wanda Kelly, right?
Yes, I did.
Does that appear to be a clip of the interview you had with Miss Wanda Kelly?
Yes, it is.
All right, 57 is admitted.
It's 113.
Hold on, did you have any other objection?
No, sir.
Thank you. Okay, Exhibit 57 is admitted.
131.
Oh, I'm sorry, 131, thank you.
May I have Exhibit 2?
I know there's not a lot of questions going on. They're just looking at papers.
States number 2, I object in reference to item states number 2, I object to the whole, but it would be agreeable to part. This is hearsay,
Hearsay is not permitted,
but would agree to
at least
page
not for the fact.
2, which is noted as
Finder of the
the
fact.
number 38 at the bottom. And that part I would not object, the rest I do.
Here, I'm going to show you. Can I approach you?
Yeah, I have no idea
Yeah.
what it is, so right. Counsel for the defense, what was the problematic pages, now that I have it in front of me?
The second page from the top, I'm okay with. The rest, I'm not okay as just hearsay items. It's called a bookend form.
That's the one that you have no objection to.
That's correct.
All right. You want to respond? No, I have it in front of me. I've reviewed it. Do you want to respond?
It's the entire booking form, Your Honor. It's complete.
All right. And the objections overruled. Exhibit 2 is admitted.
As to number states 59, it's omitted. Okay, so you're just showing it to me. State 66, object under foundation, not proper witness.
So basically, they're
I'm
arguing.
showing first and then I'll lay foundation.
Basically, they're
Let me just take a look at
arguing
it so I know what it is.
over evidence at
This
this
is
point.
66. Thank you, sir.
This is what drives me nuts. The judge is really irritated about the time frame. And then
Same
making it
objection
allow it
to
on.
states, is this 67 or 61?
I object, Your Honor.
All right, let me put 66. I'll give 66 to the witness. Take a look at it. And this is 67.
Correct, Your Honor.
I'm going to skip.
Ask additional questions before offering the exhibit. Did I hear you correctly? All right, so I'll wait until I hear additional
Y'all,
questions and
this
answers
is
to the questions
perplexing me.
before I rule on the objection.
I think something had to happen because the judge is allowing the prosecution.
Detective, so we can go in sequential order. State exhibit number 2. It's in front of you, right on top.
Yes.
That's a booking form. Do you recognize that, right?
We have taken an hour. Okay, no,
Yes,
we would not move
Booking
forward.
form of the defendant?
Yes, it is.
And then exhibit 59, do you recognize exhibit 59 as being a voicemail from Mr. Kelly to Border Patrol Agent Marcel?
Yes.
All right, now we're going to look at 66 and 67. Government exhibit 66, is that an ATT carrier warrant return
Yes, it is.
for the defendant's phone?
Yes.
Is that how you received it
Yes, it is.
from the carrier?
They
That's
had to
correct.
get 3
Did you
warrants
actually
in order to get
prepare
the-
the subpoena for, or the search warrant for the carrier?
Yes, I did.
You're going to move to admit government exhibit 66 into evidence?
May I revisit that evidence?
Okay, I need to back that up and explain for a minute. What happened was is that they had done a warrant for the phone for the carrier, and the carrier kicked it back. They did it again and still didn't have the verbiage right, so the carrier kicked it back. Then they had gotten assistance from the federal government, I believe, and then they finally got the warrant for the carrier. It has been a journey.
Evidence again?
Oh, sure, I'll grab it.
All of it? Just the whole thing?
I am on a Zoom call and this at the same time. So if I disappear for a second, please do not be offended. Just keep listening. Again.
David, from the custodian of records that regularly keeps this record to prove up that it's a true, authenticated, complete copy of what was requested by the subpoena, and therefore this witness would not be proper to allow me crossing to make sure it is complete.
Right, that item was submitted, and we don't usually attach that to the exhibit, and that goes to the weight, and this is the exhibit that the detective can testify to as a return from the carrier.
Well, without me seeing that authentication, which is required by the rule, then the objection is sustained.
Pending additional foundation, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to
Take
say
67
something on
back.
the Zoom and I'm not getting it. They keep doing the foundation. So this is something that's
So
important.
same
for
ruling as
fighting this
Exhibit
hard over it.
67.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So apparently she won that one.
Detective, you also are familiar with an AK-47 in this case, right?
That's correct.
And you sat here at table, we're not going to bring it out, but you sat here at table and saw that AK-47?
Yes, I did multiple times.
Government Exhibit 101?
Yes.
And you also seen and heard in her testimony about Government Exhibit 101.1,
Yeah.
which are the shell casings, right?
That's correct.
Test fired by the expert.
That's correct.
Just for the record, 101 and 101 was admitted on March 26th, and 101.1 was admitted on April 9th.
Okay, guys. This is driving me.
You also
crazy.
reviewed, do you have Exhibit 74, ma'am?
It's just evidence going back and forth. The prosecution has literally taken 2 hours
You also
and
looked at
gotten nada
spent
of
shell casings
new
in this
information.
case, right?
That's correct.
Those spent shell casings were found on site
Yes, they were.
at the defendant's property?
Yes, they were.
I can't wait for the defendant to come in here and let's see.
You
if
took
they can
photographs
fall
of
out the
those?
water.
Yes, we did.
Here again, the same box. She had to go look in the box and make sure that what the evidence is being shown
I'm
is
showing
what
you
has
it's
been
marked as Government
already
Exhibit
approved and
74.
admitted.
And it's been admitted on April 2nd?
She's just double checking.
All right.
every time the evidence leaves the stand or the room, it's sealed back up, so they're having to seal it.
Yeah.
You know
Oh.
where that is at the scene?
I hope you're
It's
okay with
located,
me jumping around. It's
the
getting a
river, it's
little.
right-hand side by the porch.
I think we have like
Yeah,
a
we'll
nice
probably
color tableau here. Is that the blue circle or the yellow circle?
That will be the blue circle.
All right, we'll see photos in a sec, but you can put that back in the envelope. Just so we're getting done with the shell casings, you also have government exhibits 103 to 110, the other envelopes.
Chrissy,
Just open up one of them.
I'm
and
sorry.
Tell me which item it is.
This will be exhibit 107 through 110. State exhibit.
Are these spent shell casings also found on scene?
Yes, they were.
And using our color tableau, we have the blue circle and the yellow circle. Which one?
These were located in the yellow circle.
And you've seen testimony already about that, Detective, right?
Yes.
Those are the same shell casings you took photos of?
Yes.
All right, you can put that back in the envelope. Next time I'll show you government exhibit 102, which has not been admitted. So I'm gonna have you open that box. And council has full reign to look inside.
Yes.
Council asked you to open the bag? I'm fine. Yeah,
It's double, triple back.
I'm fine.
Are you offering it?
Well, I will be setting foundation here.
I looked at it.
Detective, what's 102?
This is a black and color magazine with live ammunition.
And where'd you find that?
This was inside, well, actually adapted to the AK-47.
It's what? I didn't hear it.
It was placed on the AK-47 chamber where you chamber the magazine.
That's actually the magazine that was in the chamber when you recover the gun.
Yes, it is.
So government exhibit 101, that's the magazine that was located, actually inserted into the weapon.
Yes, it is.
Moved,
102,
what did I say?
101.
Oh, well, I meant the gun with 101. So I'm gonna move to admit government exhibit 102 into evidence.
I'll be right back, y'all.
No objections.
Exhibit 102 is admitted.
I'm done up there, counselor. I'm done. If you want to stay up there with me?
Yes. No.
Can you go ahead and take that out of the box for me? Can you hold it up so the jury can see? Actually, permission for him to walk and publish, Your Honor.
Granted.
Okay, guys, I'm back. Thank you so much. I am doing 2 lives. Yay! This guy is off the stand finally.
That's fine.
It has been a difficult live with this gentleman here. I mean, we're getting to the end of the prosecution side of the case. So with that, we're getting kind of the boring stuff, and I apologize. Oh no, we're not done. He's showing the gun. My bad. So one thing is that the jury will have an opportunity to view any item
Thank you,
or
Detective.
anything that's been admitted into
Can you get back
evidence
seated up
when
there?
they
Can
go
you
back to deliberate.
Tell me what the brand of one of the rounds
I
are.
thought he was done. I was clapping. Oh, one of the things that kind of threw me was
Brand is
that
identified as Wolf.
one of the things that they
Spelled
showed
WOLF.
that the
That's correct.
prosecution
Is there a
or
cartridge
the
size
detective
or?
or the sheriff's office went back and cut up
7.62 by 39.
7 months after the event.
I can collect that. Let me collect those for you.
Okay.
Yeah, an opportunity to review Government Exhibit 117. I believe those are the photos. I'm gonna show council. Those are the photos that we scroll through.
That's correct.
And for the court's record, in compliance with the previous order, we have
Thank
eliminated
you so
certain
much for
photos.
watching. Whoever's watching, please comment, like, and subscribe. Just FYI, just so you know, right now they have been 3 hours into the prosecution
Yes.
this morning or this session, and the judge has really been irritated with the length of this case and how slow it's moving, but yet he's permitting the prosecution. Look how slow they're moving. Everything's slow with the prosecution, and he's made it very clear that this case will go to jury no later than next Thursday, which will only leave 3 days for the defense. I'm like, really? Why would you do 3 days for the defense and 13 days plus ish for the prosecution? We'll see how this plays out.
Understanding they've deleted what was discussed. Do I need to proof it up or the court's satisfied with that they did?
I mean, we're officers of the court, Your Honor.
Well, I just, for point of clarification, there were some photos that were objectionable and some that weren't. I doubt that they've been deleted from the disk, right?
They have been there.
They have been?
I
Yeah.
deleted them.
Can we go on headset, Your Honor?
It's been deleted.
all
right. Headset. Here we go, y'all. There has been an issue with things that aren't there anymore. For those of you who are just joining, this is George Kelly. He is being prosecuted for shooting an illegal on his property, allegedly. He was in the house with his wife and heard a gunshot. He went outside after he called the Border Patrol and saw a group of illegal aliens or illegals, and he says he fired up in the air. And then he says that he went back towards the barn to check and make sure everything was okay back there. And Border Patrol showed up. A sheriff officer showed up because they were called. Or no, Border Patrol showed up. I think 1 or 2 sheriff officers showed up. They did walk the property to a certain point. There's 170 acres that backs up literally to the fence of the border of Mexico in Arizona, and they didn't find anyone, didn't see anyone, so everybody went home. Mr. Kelly and his wife were back in the house. He lay down and watched TV or putzed around. She was on the computer. He got up to talk to her about dinner, when it was going to be. He went out to feed the horse and dogs. So upon getting ready to move the horse from one pasture to the other, the dog ended up finding a dead body. He called the Border Patrol. Mind you, here's something that people don't understand. When he called Border Patrol, he was told to call Border Patrol. Anything that has to do with Border Patrol, with the illegals, Border Patrol was supposed to be called first. And he was already
Holding
deceased.
ruling on the objection until council's had further opportunity to examine the subject exhibit. So we'll return to that later. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to show you, I think, We admitted 46, right? No problem. I don't want to duplicate.
Did you say 46 or
Yes.
146?
46.
46.
I have it as admitted, but I want to make sure. It was done earlier this morning. Okay.
Okay,
And
he's
72?
moving so slow. Look at him. We need a lot of fire under that man's hiney.
72 is admitted?
Sir, do I need to buy you a cup of coffee? Do I need to maybe
One
start a
second, Your Honor.
fire under the hiney? Because you moved twice this fast yesterday. Sir? Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
Okay, guys, I'm being silly because this is really getting me. I'm going to jump. This is a recorded, so I'm not going to have to. We're wandering, we're going, we're talking, we're coming back.
Right. So we're going to take a recess. Now, as I mentioned to you yesterday, this afternoon, we're going to do.
Okay,
And Detective, you can step down if you want.
Stipulate that the grass on January 30th, 2023 was longer than the grass is today due to grazing. Photographs of the crime scene.
okay, let's see what they're talking
In the
about now.
hallway, in a bedroom, on the patio. They're all the
jury
come
is
in
going
through
to
the
be
windows
taking a
by.
tour.
Okay,
Okay, let's do this. Let me get them up.
Has been discussed in
All right,
connection
the
with this
jury is
case.
going to be taking
Again,
a
same rule,
tour of
no
the-
talking, no cell.
There we go. This afternoon, which was today, this was this morning session. They were going to get to view all the areas in question. I got to commend Mr. Kelly. He does not have to allow these people on his property. This is private property, but he has allowed it, and I commend him for it. I think they're going to get into talking
The
about.
issue of how the jurors are going to be led from locations 1 through 14. Now,
Yeah, y'all like my voice?
I don't have any problem with counsel, and the court and the bailiff, court security being. Yesterday, I said I didn't want us anywhere near them.
Road trip.
I don't have any problem with us moving with them, or at least you.
Road trip.
And it's just that way. You're there. You can see what the
Underwear.
jurors see. You can see if there's anything that they do that you consider to be problematic and you want the court to intercede or something like that. So I can see why you would want to do that. But there is no talking in front of the jurors. All right. If someone says, oh, was this curtain here or something like that, there is no talking by the lawyers that can be audible to any of the jurors. Agreed? All right. And all they're going to do, obviously, the driveway inside the house, but then leading them
I try to
around,
make it fun.
we just point them in the direction. We can go in that
Mhm.
direction.
Right.
Or you can talk to the bailiff or Deputy Martinez, who's going to be with us, and point them in the direction where the next location is. That's fine. All right. I just don't want there to be any discussion by the council among yourselves,
Not within earshot
in
of
your
the
group,
jury.
or with me or with the bailiff or anybody else that can be audible to the jurors.
Yep,
I think we can
there
do
we
it
go.
that way. If there's a problem, we'll modify it. Okay. All right. You're all going out there separately, I assume, or find your own way out there.
Just for the record, the
Uh-oh,
victim
this is the lady the judge is upset at.
So
Oh.
it's just the three of us at this table.
All right. Thank you for letting me know. So we don't need your detective.
Attorney here.
And Judge, we just wanted to address where everybody was going to be parking. We didn't want them all in the far end of the driveway because that can disrupt the view of the actual scene. So we were going to ask people to park. Where do you want them to park? Outside of the gate?
So they're going to have to walk about
Yes, sir.
10 yards to get to the house from the gate.
Jury to have good access.
Do I still
You can just tell me where you want us to park.
We're gonna go through the main lock gate.
Do I still have
Then
photo?
there's a double green gate to the right. They're to go through that green gate and they're to go up to a point where there's a small green gate.
Okay, I'm going to remove them. I'm going to remove
access to the gate, then to the house, then the other points, and they'll be the lead vehicle to go to the barn. So how they park and I'm asking if I won't say a word, if I can direct them through the right gates and stop at the right point.
All right, when are you going out there?
Well, we're going to skip through this. This is just their legal
You'll be leaving the escort?
tips. Okay, we're done for the day. I greatly appreciate you joining me. You guys are awesome. And of course, the next video starts playing. Thank you so much for watching. Tomorrow, we will have a full day of court. We will hear what happened when they went to the residence. Hopefully there were no issues. Hopefully the judge will be in a better mood. So with that, you guys are awesome. I greatly appreciate you. I hope y'all have a blessed evening. I am going to finish my Zoom, then go eat, get some sleep, and see you in the morning. Have a good night. Bye.